We got some news to talk about today, and it is regarding the future of Hololive and how the debut for Nijisanji's newest group went. And I think talking about them both in this video is very important, as it is very telling about how things in the VTuber community go when it comes to introducing new members to the world. As we all know, debut hype is a common trope in the industry. It all depends on how well they impress the debut audience enough to make them want to subscribe to you and follow you for months and years on end. Look no further than the come up of Gura, who set a prime example of how such an iconic debut can turn millions into fans. Now, after her and all of Hololive debuted in 2020, two more generations have since followed in their footsteps, and meanwhile on the Japanese side of Hololive, 6 generations have been operating under the brand, but there has not been a new generation in nearly 3 years. The closest we got to that was Regloss, but instead they're part of a new branch altogether. In their own right, they're talented enough to where they got their cult followings just as much as the other members of the company do, which leads us to this release from Cover Corporation, the parent company of Hololive Productions. This part of the Q&A that took place stood out to a lot of people on Twitter who noticed a significant change Hololive will be taking in the foreseeable future. Quote unquote, with respect to VTuber portfolios, we realize that we are graduating from a phase of making an increase in revenue and profit by increasing the number of VTubers. Instead of that, we are considering expanding the scale of revenue from the whole business by expanding the degree of recognition per VTuber IP and increasing profitability. And I think that right there is a very smart move. By putting focus on the members you have already and building them up to have careers they very much deserve in this landscape, they'll get to where you can't even think of the word VTuber anymore without thinking of the grand talents of Hololive. Seeing how much they have grown already, to hear that this is just the beginning of what they're able to accomplish is quite the genius and brilliant way of going about things. Now, this does not mean they will stop the debuts and hiring of new members. Just expect them to be announced at a slower rate than they used to be, which will mean the focus now will be to give the current members more opportunities and goals that they're determined to achieve. Now, as someone who obviously is curious about how they'll be able to top Hollow X and Advent, I do think appreciating what we have already shows us that they're not to be taken for granted. The amount of time and love we cherish with the talents is valuable and can't ever be forgotten. Together, talents and fans alike, we built a community that is inseparable, which is something that Selen Tatsuki wanted to do at Nijisanji, but unlike Hololive, they're money first, quantity second, and sympathy at the very last. Which leads us to our second topic. The oversaturation of talents has just about hit its new low over at Hololive's rival company, also known as the Seeking Yacht. The newest member recently just debuted a few days ago at the time of recording this video. It hasn't even been that long yet, and the numbers are already showing signs of slowing down, maybe even more so than Triple T. We already seen how bad it got for them, especially for Victoria, who lost both her Oshis and is part of the lowest performing and least promoted group of the company. This is not to criticize in any shape or form the 3 talents who chose to audition and be selected for this new group right here. I like them fine. I do think Twisty has a great model and Clara surely did get her fans, being the most subscribed out of all 3, but they just needed to be in a better company. Look, we could talk all day about how sus they've gotten the last few months. In fact, the topic just never seems to end. The main focus this time is about the difference between Hololive and Nijisanji's groups, how they debut, and what is the lasting impact they end up having. By putting more focus on just debuting more members instead of focusing more on what the talents need, it'll get to a point where it's just no longer viable to take care of so many people when you can't sustain enough resources for the ones you already do have. And it's not like we didn't see this coming. In fact, it's known lore by this point that with every member they lose, out comes 3 more to take their place. It's like the expiration dates on milk at this point, which is why I support Hololive's decision to focus on their current members instead of trying to hire more, because the heart and soul of the VTuber community is the love and compassion put into the careers of the VTubers, male or female, the events and opportunities they worked hard to earn, and the results of those show that we want them to stick around, and it shows in the stuff that comes out afterwards. In a nutshell, VTubers are people too, and we should respect them as such, root for them, and don't worry about biting off more than you can chew. In the end, being grateful for what you got lands you on the road to the long run. What do you think of this contrast? Are you supportive of Hololive's decision? What do you think of the new Nijisanji members? Let me know in the comments below. And I just recently launched my Patreon, which will help out with the channel, so please support it and you'll get a credit at the end of all of my videos. Thank you for watching this video. Like it and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter. This is your sunshine Yui Tachibana, signing out.